open waters. The story that came about with the film was I was actually doing some drone photography down by this unusually long pier. This is kind of where the story came from, was Mankind. And I met a friend in 2012, and her name is Dana Haynes. And she's a writer, and she also writes poetry, and she's a publisher for a newspaper. So I think it's interesting that we met, you know. And I kind of brought this story to her, and she just kind of went with it. And we were originally wanting to do a kind of a short film to kind of jumpstart it and see what would happen, but the characters got so detailed. This thing just kind of snowballed, and it was like there's no way that we could have told this story in the manner that we would want to, because the characters were so just heavy. And at this point in the game, we can't give anything away because the story is very, very complex, and it's all about that superficial and on top, and then the murky below. And the story has not been done yet. I had met Edwin Neal about 15 years ago. It was interesting. I was doing a movie called The Pickup, and it was a true story. And anyway, so someone had told me that they had talked to Edwin Neal about possibly either being in the film or doing some kind of narration for it. Now, I am a huge fan of Ed. I mean, my God, I grew up on him. He's done so much. He was actually the Lord Zed in the original Power Rangers. I mean, he's been in JFK. He's done it. If you actually go to his IMDb page, I mean, he's done quite a bit. But what got him started was he was the hitchhiker in the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, come on.
What are you doing to yourself? Oh, my God.
And that's how I knew him. So when I got the call that he had spoke to one of my people and he was interested, I mean, I fell on the floor. I was like, oh my God. And what was interesting was when we got to where we were going, he wound up doing the narration for the film. And when we got to the studio, when I got out of the car, I just was like, oh my God, I'm fixing to meet this guy. And anyway, my sound guy looks at me and goes, KALE, he's working for you. You're not here to get an autograph. And I'm like, no, I'm getting an autograph. I'm telling you right now. Anyway, we really became fast friends, and he is an amazing character actor, a man of 1,000 voices, and just a good friend. What I wanted to do was, what I wanted in the movie was I wanted narration, and I wanted a open credit roll narration to set the tone for the film, and then I wanted narration throughout the film. And I just thought it would be a great idea to have kind of take Edwin Neal back a little bit and kind of do in this film what they did in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was, again, have a voiceover set the tone of the film, and do it the way they did it. Now, the original voice in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and a lot of people don't know this, but that was John Larroquette from Night Court. And he did an amazing job on the intro of that original film. And I kind of wanted Ed to do the same thing because, I mean, he's a man of 1,000 voices. I mean, he can produce whatever you want. And so that's kind of what we did. And I had another idea to do the voiceover in the original the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house where the movie was actually shot.
Kirk?
Hello? Hello?
take this staircase, for instance.
This is something I've been wanting to do. The day that I came out here with Patrice,
Oh, Rick, this was the movie y'all saw on your honeymoon, right?
the swing was right here. Well, we got permission to try. Chicken in the cage right now.
God almighty, dude, the kitchen.
Under this
My God, we're in the kitchen.
the meat wise, the Kurt's body and whatever.
Now, the house originally sat in Round Rock, Texas, and then they disassembled. Well, it sat there for years. Let me finish that part. It sat there for years, and it actually was dilapidating. And it's owned by Drew Gorenser and Rick Gregory. And the food is absolutely amazing. These guys outdid themselves. So if you're ever in Kingsland, Texas, look up the Grand Central Cafe. You will not be disappointed. What I wanted to do was bring in a sound booth and bring it into that house and do Ed's audio. And we've completed that part of the project. We've done it. And the reason why I wanted to do it was there was another cast member of Texas Chainsaw that was also a friend of mine, and it was Marilyn Burns. And she has since passed away. And she was a friend for sure. I never got a chance to work with her though, and I hated that and regretted it for a long time. So I was like, what better way to pay tribute from me to her is to bring Ed to the house and actually set the audio booth up where she had done her famous dining room scene. Right on her spot. And so it was very surreal for me to be there in that house with Ed, standing where she shot her scene. And I love her dearly, and I love him dearly for sure. And it was a very, very, very special moment. What the idea behind Open Waters is the behavior of people, the murky, the dark. You know, it's kind of a representation of mankind. The devil, the angel. And I don't care who you are, we all have the ability to exhibit altruistic behavior, whether it be in the physical or just in the mind. It's an adventure into the mind. It's an adventure into the psyche of human beings. It is not a horror film. What is dark and what is light? It almost sounds cliche. It almost sounds like it's any other film. It's not. This has never been done quite like this before. If I were to define it in any kind of way, because we're not going to give anything away, it is an you're going to have to bleep this. It's an absolute mind
as Gabby travels down a path that leads her into the darkness and unknown, with only the certainty that every road comes to an end.